Can you hear the birds?
No,
I think I've got a,
no.
a filter on so that you can't hear the birds. And let me see if I can turn that filter off for a minute. Hmm. Hmm. Now can you hear them?
Now, let me try this. Then I try to put some earphones. This gonna work. Thing.
No?
No,
Oh well.
I can only hear your voice.
Yeah, I think Zoom is pretty good at just optimizing everything just for people's voices,
But it's not like your voice.
which is good sometimes, but
Yeah. It's also,
now I've got some sort of a echo thing going on. Okay, that's better.
yeah, there was a mosquito moving around. I think it's looking for a proper place to suck the blood. A proper,
Are they dangerous there?
no,
You don't
it's
have
just
malaria?
that no, we don't have. The malaria is only there in the central parts of Africa. It's there. But here we don't have. They can bite the body, but they leave the pain. This is felt. It's irritating. Just you have to scratch, keep on scratching. Mm.
Life is like 1,000 mosquito bites, one after the other.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Sometimes that usually happens when there's so much uh, identification with the body happening. If the identification with the body seems to be intense, then uh, sorry, things things may seem to happen, especially when there's so much belief invested in the apparent lie, uh, the activity. Things may seem to happen just to somehow this reminds itself that it has never been separate. It has never been a body, somebody there who's living life. It has always been this vastness. So things may happen just to remind me. Everything that seems to happen is good, even though some at times it may seem to be bad, but it's actually good. Even what seems to be bad, it's actually working for good. So everything is beautiful, even when it seems it's not very beautiful. But this as it is already meaningless. Different meanings may appear. Some may seem to say, oh, I love this life. Some may seem to say this life is very bad for me. Or I think um, these days that you see things happening, I think we're getting closer to the end of the world. So many different interpretations may seem to happen, may seem to be different opinions. But this as it is, it doesn't mean anything. It's already meaningless. Meanings are given to this different meanings. But it's how it's placed. It's not that there's somebody who gives the meaning to this meaningless thing. You know, it's how it plays. It plays as different characters, giving meanings, you know, at interpreting situations according to uh, their opinion and stuff. But this as it is, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
I'm gonna go on the porch because bandwidth is not getting a little laggy.
Mm.
Yeah, the mosquitoes are kind of coming out here too.
This one is large. It's very big, huge. Yeah.
They don't like cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
They don't like cinnamon.
Uh, what is it?
Cinnamon?
Yeah.
You're probably just not understanding me right. Let's see. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Let's see. Cinnamon. Are you not familiar with? You guys don't have cinnamon?
Yeah, I think we do have. Yeah, we do have. We do have.
Yeah. So I cook with a lot of cinnamon. Well, I don't cook with it, but I put it in granola, and then I guess that's just put a lot of it in granola, and it's a lot of Indian foods too, and curries and stuff. But they don't even like the smell of it, so that if you like make a necklace of it or something, they'll stay away from you.
Yes. Oh, they'll run away.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I'm gonna look for one in one of the shops. Yeah, I think I've seen one, especially those Indian shops. Yeah.
And a lot of like sweets, a lot of like, cinnamon rolls, a lot of pastries. It's in a lot of Mexican food. You can get it in America very, very cheap. Just but I guess I don't know anything about Africa. It seems like something that you guys would eat a lot of. Spices, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, we have a lot of spices here, Indian spices like cloves. Do you know
Yeah.
cloves?
Yeah, usually cinnamon and cloves go together,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think yeah, we have a lot of cloves. Yeah. Yeah, there's this uh and whatever is arising, talking, thinking, waiting, expectation, wondering, memory. It's just already this. This is no separation. There is no separation. The one who seems to be going through stuff, things, or who seems to be suffering is already not there. It's just already totally there's somebody who's going through things. In the same way, the sea appears as waves. But it's still the sea. It doesn't it doesn't change. It doesn't become something else. Still the very same sea appearing as waves. Waves. So in the same way, this vastness, wholeness is also appearing as somebody who seems to be trying to fix things, who's going through things. There's never a real separate somebody who's doing anything, who's facing any problem. If it appears that way, that's illusory, just an illusion. It's just a dream, a dream without a dreamer, and there's nobody to wake up. Because there was nobody there who was dreaming. It's just a dream without a dreamer. So it's very empty. That's why when there is looking happening, the separate self can never really be found because it doesn't have its own existence. It's not separate, it's just one. It's just wholeness expressing as what should be a separate self. So there's no real actual separate self. And this they're talking right now is not separate from this. It's just this talking. It's just this listening. Just this thing. There is no man who's listening, and there's no man who's talking, and there is no meeting. And this is just a sound that seems to appear in this. And this sound, the meaning was imposed in it. It is labeled as talking, but actually nothing is happening. It's just a sound.
I'm sorry. Let me be right back, Nkosi.
Okay.
Hey, Melissa? Melissa? Oh, Melissa had turned on the air conditioning, which made this huge fan behind me go, and then I couldn't hear you. So just gonna turn it off.
Takes a minute, it'll be off soon.
Yeah, it's off now. One of those days.
Yeah. Yeah, the story itself is empty. It's just an empty appearance. There is no real story, and the separate self is just empty. There is no real separate self. Everything is one. Everything is this. There's no separation. The story may seem to be going somewhere, but it actually is nowhere. It's not something that can be held in view. It's not something that can be seen. It's just imaginary. In the same way, uh, when there's mention that today is Tuesday, but you cannot find Tuesday. You cannot find Tuesday. We can only see words written in the calendar. What is a calendar? But it's just a paper, piece of paper. So you can't find Tuesday, and the me can never be found as well. It's the same as when you find Tuesday. Even the finder is not there. So there's just this, whatever it may seem to arise, talking, sitting on a chair, listening, waiting. That is not being done by anybody. There is no doer who's doing anything. It's not like in the case of a puppet, when there's someone who's pulling out those strings, making it to move. There is no entity behind who's doing anything, who's fixing anything. And then if that body were to be operated, only uh, the parts, body parts, different body parts may be found. Heart, liver, intestines, the blood, but Charles can never be found. So who's really saying all these things? Who's talking about all these things? That can be seen as just a knowledge in the memory, a knowledge that I'm a certain somebody who is who grew up in a certain location. But that too is not separate. It's just what is. Wholeness, that which is not divided, appearing as that. There is nobody to find. There's just freedom. There's nobody to lose it. Freedom appearing to be on a journey. Freedom appearing to be suffering. But that's just an illusion. There's no real suffering. There's no real journey. It's just freedom appearing as that. There's nobody to fall away. There's nobody to collapse. There's nobody to even find ways to control what's happening. That is just a dream. What seems to be happening can never really be controlled. It's just what's happening. Nobody doing it. There's nobody to control it. What seems to be happening is not happening to somebody. It's not personal. It's already impersonal. There is an opinion that seems to arise and is saying, but this life is tough. That's happening. The thought itself is impersonal. It's not personal. The thought itself is just what's happening. It doesn't belong to anybody. It doesn't happen for somebody. It doesn't happen to anybody. That's what's happening. And it's going nowhere. So there can be a changeful an activity that which seems to change. That's which is unchanging. That doesn't change. But that which is unchanging and that which seems to be changeful is already one. It's not separate. It's actually the unchanging appearing to be changeful. And this may happen to appear as its own limited aspects of itself. May happen to appear as somebody who's being to control things, to move things in a certain way, certain direction. But it's actually this which is already unchanging, which is already whole and complete, appearing to be incomplete. There's no real incompleteness. It's just a dream. It's just an illusion. This is already whole and complete. And this has nobody in it. There's nobody here to control or to do things or to move things in a certain way, to move things to a direction. The thought that seems as to say, I am me, I'm here, is just this already. It's not somebody who's saying that. It's just the collapse something. No, it's just this already. It's just vastness appearing to say that. So this is not actually suggesting that there shouldn't be any seeking or meditation or looking. That may still happen, suffering, looking, searching. But that too, as it is not separate from this. If there's an assumption that there's somebody who's here and a meditation or seeking needs to happen, that may still happen. If that desire is still there, that may happen as well until that exhausts itself. That may seem to play out. Somebody who's seeking, doing self-inquiry, meditating, until the desire is there to seek. If it doesn't arise, it doesn't arise. If it's still arising, that's just what's happening. No doing it. That's not an evidence that there's still somebody there. There's already nobody there to fall away. In the midst of such seeking, somebody being there is just an imagination. It's just constructs. It's just an imagination believed in. And there's no believer. There's just believing happening.
Let's see if I can turn you up. It's noisy out here tonight. Noisy day in the world.
Birds are making noise around.
Birds, people, devices. No, it's just as loud as
Wow.
it goes. Sun's going down.
Yeah,
Frogs are coming out.
that's good.
Frogs are beautiful. So many frogs around here. And when it rains, the frogs come out on the roads. And you have to kind of, you don't have to, but you know, I like to not run over the frogs. So you have to dodge the frogs. And you know, they're big in the middle of the road.
Wow.
You guys get frogs? You guys gotta have frogs. There's frogs everywhere.
Yeah, they are frogs, especially in an area where there's water,
Yeah.
just the water there. You can find frogs
They're just
in the
everywhere.
river next to the river.
Yeah.
And they like to gather together and sing together.
I can already hear them here singing together. My mom used to have a swimming pool, and they would drain the water in the winter, but they wouldn't drain it all, and that's where all the frogs would lay their eggs. So when spring would come, there
Wow.
would just be millions of tadpoles, and then they would all hatch, and the side of the swimming pool would just be black with thick layers of baby frogs.
Wow.
Just hopping everywhere. You couldn't walk anywhere without squishing the frogs. And then as they got older, they would all just scream their heads off. So
Wow.
that was intense.
Oh, those were the frogs, those who usually like swim in the water or just land frogs.
I don't know, I mean, frogs start as eggs, and then when they hatch, they're just like little baby fish with like, you know, a little tiny tail. It's nothing but a head and a little tail,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they swim around. And then as they grow, then they grow legs out of the little tail, and the tail goes away. I don't know, gets sucked up into the body or something. I don't know. Maybe that becomes their spine or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, so they go from fish to amphibians. Yeah. I'm sure they can swim, but
Yeah.
I don't, they live next to water, but I don't know how much they live in the water.
Yeah. We we use we used to call baby frogs when growing up, when I was still young. We used to call baby frogs no shobi shobi.
Tell them what?
No shobi shobi.
No Shobi. What is that? Zulu?
Yeah, Zulu. No shobi shobi.
That's a cute name.
Yeah.
The
But the name
Caribbean
of the frog is
is what?
Iselesele. We call them we call frogs Iselesele.
In the Caribbean, they have frogs when I've been there that are really small and really, really bright colors. And they're really, really loud. Really loud. So, and then when you figure out what's making all that racket, it's just this tiny little thing. It's like you can't even sleep because the frogs are so loud, you know? It's funny, as stress seems to arise almost at the same time and almost in the same proportion. It feels as if there's space. you know, you feel the
Yeah.
stress and then you notice the space. It's like same time almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it is the space that appears to be stress, but the stress itself is the label. It's just there's no real stress. Yeah, and labeling seems to collapse when there is a recognition that there's space, there's nothing else. So everything is seen that's already nameless. It's just vast, one undivided whole. Just this. And labeling may seem to appear in the story. Oh, this is a mountain. Oh, that is George. Uh, that is Martha. That's. But when it is recognized that vastness, this labeling seems to, doesn't make sense. It's just and the recognition is always there. It's just a matter of noticing. And there's actually no one who can even notice. There's just noticing. There can be a noticing happening. when the attention is not in the story. But when the attention goes to the story, to the activity, then it may seem as if this is not seen. It may be overlooked, but it's always here. It doesn't go away. Even stuff, stress, or what seems to be stress, suffering. It is your resting place. It's always here. Just a matter of thing. There's nobody to recognize. The recognition is there. Just noticing may seem to happen. That there was never any real separate self was going through anything. That was just imaginary. It was just an imagination believed in. I would say this has these powers to believe things to existence. But nothing really exists. There are no human beings already, but they can be imagined, and that imagination may seem to be accompanied by the belief, strong belief, that okay, there's this, but it's just a belief. It's just a belief. When there's no belief, then things may be seen as they are. Just it's nothing. In the same way, when there's a belief that Tuesday, it seems as if it's really Tuesday, but you cannot find Tuesday. And it's not Tuesday. There's no Tuesday here. Those are just words written in the piece of paper, the calendar. Same as time. You couldn't find time. There's no time. Except when you assume that there's time, you look at the watch. Then you assume that, oh, now it's just a watch. It's just a machine. Nothing else. There's no real time. Everything is imagined by no one. Your whole entire life is imagined. Even right now, you cannot find your life. Where is your life right now? Where is it? Except as an imagination. Even the finder, just an assumption. There is no finder. So there's nothing. There is spaciousness, which is already empty. which is already full, which is already everything. And there's nothing to find space. There's nobody to find space. When there's a belief that somebody who can find space, that space appearing as a belief that there's somebody. That space appearing as somebody who thinks he can find space. There's nobody to find space. There's just space, spaciousness. Appearing as a colleague, appearing as a spouse, appearing as children, appearing as a you, appearing as the sky, the blackness, thinking, waiting, seeking, resting. There is no sufferer already. The sufferer is imaginary. To suffer. There is nobody to even feel stress. There is nobody to even find freedom. There's just freedom. That which seems to be looking for freedom is already freedom. So there's nothing that is looking for freedom. There's just freedom. So can you get rid of Tuesday?
Who could get rid of Tuesday? There's no one here to get rid of Tuesday. Tuesday already doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Yet I talk to you every Tuesday. Okay, and Kosi, I'm gonna go hug my wife,
Okay.
hug myself. Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Talk to you next Tuesday.
Yeah.